We all know that the noise on the internet at the moment is louder than ever. AI is flattening the internet. There is so much strategic advice everywhere, and most of it contradicts itself. A lot of businesses look like they are successful and thriving when actually they are bleeding energy, they are bleeding trust, and they are bleeding profit. And for so many of us, we don't know where to turn because everybody has such different opinions, and it can be really hard to figure out what you should be focusing on and also to keep up with all of the changes that are happening. So today I am sitting down with four amazing businesswomen who see this from different angles, from strategy to performance, leadership, launches, and nervous system, as well as the back end of what actually scales and sells. So I am really excited to introduce you to four of my really good friends, and I'm going to get them to introduce themselves in a moment so that we can really talk about what is emerging in 2026 when it comes to our marketing, when it comes to the way that we launch our offers from the lens of what is working in their niches, in their businesses, and with their clients. And so, what I hope that you take away from this is some clarity and some inspiration to know what you really need to do and what you can be focusing on if you want your business to really thrive over the next 12 months. So, we are going to be looking at this from the lens of spirituality in business and identity, launching, back end reality, marketing, and of course, leadership and nervous system capacity. So, we've got everything covered. I am so excited. We've got a very, very multi-dimensional conversation coming today. Let's start by saying good morning to each of you. And I'm just going to whip around and I'm going to let you all introduce yourself. If you are long-term listeners, you know I have some people who actually message and say, I have listened to every single one of your episodes, which is so amazing because we're recording episode 200 after this. And that means, so, that you will have met some of these beautiful women before. You will know Annelise, you will know Jada, but we're also going to introduce you to Danni and Jess. So, Annelise, just for those who haven't met you, can you just let us know who you are, what you do, how long you've been in business?
Sure. I kind of forgot about this part when I was getting ready for the episode. Hi, everyone. My name's Annelise Worn. I am a marketing agency owner and a scale strategist. So I've had my company for going on 9 years now. I also have four children, and we world school, travel the world, and run the business as we go. And there's a coaching arm to my company as well. So we help freelancers build agencies. I definitely come at it from the strategy, marketing, structure side of things. So looking forward to the
I'm
conversation.
really looking forward to hear. Well, I know you've got some thoughts on what's happening in 2026. I'm really looking forward to hearing that. Good morning, Danny. Tell us a little bit about you.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Danni Vee. I have actually been in business for over 25 years. I've run multiple multi six-figure businesses, and I am now really focusing on performance of the business owner and entrepreneur, bridging the gap between peak performance and inner alignment through energetics and mindset.
Oh, and it's the work that we need. My ladies know this. When they listen, they know it's frequency first, isn't
hmm
it? And you're going to echo that. I love that. Jada, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, my name is Jada. I have a very long surname, so I won't even say it. I have been an entrepreneur for over 15 years through multiple different businesses in the event space, in the in-person service-based businesses, and in online business. And I am an online offer growth specialist, very much specializing in live launching, hence bringing the events-based side of things into it and really supporting women to grow their businesses in a way that is aligned with the life they actually want, and creating businesses that feel good to be running. So
I
that
love
is what
that.
I do and support people with. And I am also very excited for this conversation. And I had also forgotten about the intro bit, Annalise. So
Isn't it funny? No matter how long you've been in business for, you're still like, shit, what's my elevator pitch? Like, what do I
With your
Good
own audience, you don't need to do that every time. It's
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
exactly. Now
oh,
I just say,
okay.
welcome back. Good morning, Jess.
Good morning. My name is Jess Patra. I am a spiritual mentor, business and life coach. And I've actually been in business. It was a 5-year anniversary yesterday for the current business that I'm in. So, Kutu
Congratulations.
Jessica Patra. It was nice to see that pop up on my memories to be reminded of how far I've come, stepping into my personal brand. Prior to that, I have had multiple businesses as well, like everyone else. So have pretty much been in business for the past 15 years doing different things, not just personal development, but also app development, marketing, helping people grow their business as well. So an array of businesses, but this one is probably the one that I'm most proud of.
Oh, I love that. And Jess is due to have her first baby in a couple of weeks.
Yes, or a couple of hours, couple of days. But yes, a couple
Anytime.
of weeks, 2026, please.
Oh, goodness me. And look, I will, just in case you are listening here for the very, very first time, I will reintroduce myself. So, my name is Jessica. I am a frequency first business mentor. So, I help women to become the woman who holds their business and then craft the strategy that is actually going to get them there. And what we want to build in my world are successful, scalable, sustainable, and sexy businesses. So let's get started. You can see we really have a panel of experts here today. We are all serial entrepreneurs, and I love that so much. All of the different experiences that we're all bringing, not only in where we are now, but in everything that we have built before that, everything that we've done so well, everything that we've failed at, like all of everything that we're bringing in. I just love that so much. So let's move to our conversation around what we think is going to happen in 2026. Now, this is obviously our own individual perspectives based on what we see working in our business. And so it might be really helpful to just to be clear when you start talking about your thoughts, to maybe just also give everyone an idea of I guess who your ideal client really is. So they kind of know, oh yeah, this is like my industry, or this is like my industry as they're listening. So yeah, we can really get an idea of what's going on nice and clearly. But we might start with Danny. I'm going to ask you, what do you think from where you sit, what do you see is actually not working for you,
Mm.
for your clients anymore in 2025?
Yeah, absolutely. So my clients that I work with, it's two different levels. So in my mastermind, it's that high-end woman that's already successful, wanting to get to that new identity and level. And then I've also got my membership, which is people that it might have been in business for 5 years, but they just aren't really getting it. They're not showing up. They're not being able to, actually be truly themselves. So what I've found this year specifically that isn't working is that old saying, and it just gets me going so much, is fake it till you make it. And it just doesn't work any longer. People are looking for that human touch. People are looking to actually know the person behind the brand. And if you're faking it, you're never actually going to be that future self. And I find that with especially my elite clients, this is where they lose their identity because they've been so busy faking it till they make it, they actually forget who they truly are. So it's just really such a huge impact when you're living in that thought pattern of fake it till you make it, because you're never actually truly understanding who you are and
Yeah.
understanding what that means for your brand and for your business.
I think it's such an important
Mm.
important topic. It really is. Actually, this is essentially along the lines of the podcast 5-part series that I just recorded
Yeah.
yesterday. It's around if people don't know, if they can't connect with you, and they don't know who you are, what your values are, and you're over here faking it. First of all, you're not actually bringing that level of safety to being seen for who you actually are. So you're forgetting, and
Yeah.
then people aren't connecting, and then we're wondering why our clients are maybe misaligned, have different values. Is because they
Yeah.
don't they don't know who you actually. And
Yeah.
you're saying, it's with your elite clients too. So these are women who've been in business how long?
Oh, well, I've had women that have been in business for 10 to 15 years, or,
Mm.
they've been in corporate leadership for a long time as well. And they've had to felt like they've had to fake it till they make it to get to that level of leadership. And they just are really finding that their teams don't understand them because they don't know how to show up, and it then leads to the domino effect of the comparisonitis, because you're so busy trying to be something that isn't you. Then you go out there looking around thinking, oh, maybe I should be like that, maybe I should be like that, and then it's just a real huge domino effect that just isn't working any longer.
So speaking of that domino effect, then what is the hidden cost that you see ripple out from that fake it till you make it? The in like energy, trust, relationships, financial outcomes. Like what's it cost?
Yeah, so there's like at all the different levels that you're talking about. So financial, their business aren't growing, so they get stuck at a level, I can't make any more money, or they're actually losing money because they are becoming more aware of them not being who they truly are, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then also the impact of not feeling good enough, not having belief in yourself, breaking that trust with yourself. It's a big thing that I'm really passionate about. Is you can't build trust with others if you don't build trust for yourself. So if you are
Mm.
breaking that trust with yourself constantly, then you're breaking that trust with your audience. And like you said, Jess, then that doesn't create safety and security for your clients to come in and trust that you're going to give them what they need.
And just above all of that as well, there's just this sentence. I got really like passionate and worked up when I was talking about this yesterday, and I was like, I should be video recording this one, because I'm like, hands out here, and I'm like, ah. I was
Mm,
like, you just also in this body, in this, you have this one life to live, and you're
mm-hmm.
not learning how to feel safe to be yourself
Oh, yes.
in that life. Like, oh, just that's a
I'm
big,
very
yeah,
passionate about
it's
this,
a big
Jess.
cost.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I feel
Yeah.
like we could, let's just do a whole
Mm-hmm.
episode on that
Yeah.
together,
Can I
Danny.
ask a question on this though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because how do you then speak to your clients around jumping in when they don't feel fully ready? Because I
So,
find like,
yeah.
yeah, do you know what I mean? Like for
Yeah.
me, I was like, like I feel I know I can, but I'm so scared and I'm just gonna jump in, and then the confidence comes. So I always,
Mm,
how do you then speak to your clients if you're saying don't fake it till you make it, but do, what
yeah.
is the alternative that still gets them moving?
Absolutely. So it's understanding who you want to be, because she's already inside of you. So be your future self now. So the difference between fake it till you make it and be your future self now is that you understand who she is. So then we do a lot of work on your inner alignment and your intrinsic values. So a big example that I give to all of my clients is an extrinsic value of mine is family, because I've got this beautiful family of 3 children and a beautiful husband. So I'm so connected to my family, but that's outside of me. So that's not inside of me. What my extrinsic value brings me is love and connection. So an inner aligned value of mine is love and connection. So if I'm living love and connection every single day, then I'm being her now. And so
Mm.
then when you feel misaligned, you go back and think, okay, which part of my values am I not living today? And then you can start being more in alignment with those values. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I love that Annalise
Mm,
asked that question as well, because there would be people listening that are like, yeah, okay, but then how do I like, do I have to wait to become the person first and
mm,
then take the step? And
no.
I think it's one of those things for me, I look at what identity is driving the decisions that you're making. And
Yeah.
and so when it's like, okay, yes, the only way to do it is to jump in and do the thing, but we want to make sure that we're not leading that from a survival identity, because if you're going to jump in and do the thing from that survival identity, so for example, I know the hustler, the good girl, the overgiver, the one who's so contracted and scarce around money, you're going to still have, it's not about not jumping in, because we all know that we stretch our nervous system by doing things, but it's about being able to identify the energy behind, the identity behind, and the intention behind how you're actually jumping into it. Is my personal opinion.
So it's
Yeah.
coming from that place of abundance, not lack.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's helpful because I lived by the motto, fake it till you make it, to start my business initially. And I was like, I don't have an agency, but yes, I do. And now I'm doing it. But I love how you both spoke to the more intrinsic internal part. I think that's an important distinction. So,
I think the difference is, and I just heard it as you're saying that, the difference is embodiment. And it's
yeah.
almost like replacing that fake it till you make it with embodiment. You want to be asking, acting, thinking, being, doing
Mm.
what your already there self is acting, thinking, being, doing, but also believing as well, because obviously that's going to drive the thoughts
Yeah,
that
it's
you
definitely
do.
better language than fake it till you make
Yeah.
it. Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Embody that successful because I did the same. I've got one client this week or whatever at the beginning of my business, of this business, but then it's like I never, and I say this to my clients all the time, I never turned up as if this business wasn't my full-time, already successful role. Like it was just it just in my mind I had to do that, but it wasn't ever in my mind to fake it till you make it. It was like I'm just going to embody it. This is just it.
Mhm.
This is just
I
it. It's
wonder,
who I am. It's who I am. It's who I'm going to be.
yeah, I wonder if it's what's coming to mind for me as well, like just as another word to say it is like it's about also believing it till you make it, like holding that vision strongly enough and
Yeah.
staying in the energy of that embodiment, but in that aligned way to who you truly are and like not being someone else to
Yeah.
make it,
Yes.
being yourself, but you do have to hold that future belief or that vision of your future self and continually work what the process has felt like for me, I guess, is continuing to hold an energy of the belief, of the vision, and doing the actions that align with that,
Yeah.
but not in a way that's not me, like you're saying, Danny, like not different values, like not following somebody else's values, not trying to be like somebody else, but it's as everyone was speaking, I was like, it's almost like that believing it and taking action
Mm.
till you make it instead of it being fake or trying to copy someone else.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think the other key piece that I'm hearing in that as well is something that I know all of us, just bang my microphone, all of us here deeply believe, and that is that we can't, or that we're not going to separate out the strategy and the personal growth. And so, Annalise, I know that as you would have done the fake it till you make it, you also have invested in your own internal growth with your
Mm.
mindset, with therapies, with all of the things that you've done. And I think what I would assume a lot of women who have faked it till they made it until, that success comes that they're now getting help with because they're struggling to hold it because they've got this huge, it's like this friction. It's like they are being someone who they are actually really truly not deep inside, but they've suppressed down all of the shadow parts that have been running, or that they've not yet been willing to look at or sit with or feel or understand that they've been leading their business. I call them survival identities, but whatever language you want to use for it, they don't understand that yet. And I think that to
Totally.
me just circles back to that really core message that I know Danny preaches, I know Jada, Jess, Annalise, like we all preach, is that you have to grow the human as well as the business. Both,
Yeah, that I
both.
did
Didn't know
definitely did
her.
not know that back then. Definitely
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
not.
And most
Was not
people
even
don't.
thinking about that
Yeah.
aspect days ago. No
Yeah.
way.
And also too, I think it's when you start businesses, it's like, okay, well, you've likely left a job or there's something, there is that financial pressure and that, okay, well, I've just got to do whatever it takes to be successful. I've just got to get the money coming in. I've got to get my name out. I've got to wear all the hats as well. Like we're doing all the things most of the time all by ourselves at the beginning too. So most people aren't coming in thinking, oh, well, I better be growing, my identity and shifting and changing my internal world at the same time. But I think, if you are listening and you are earlier in business and you can take that away, that actually, if you do that work alongside now, you're going to get to where you want to go a lot faster. First of
Yeah.
all, well, I mean, everyone's got our own journey, but I do believe it will help to collapse the timeline. And
Mm.
second of all, I think that you are probably going to, I don't be careful how I say this, but you are, in my experience, going to have business is not easy. All of us know that, but a more easeful experience because you are operating in alignment with core values, with, actions that actually take you towards the vision that you have for your life because you've stopped and checked in on that. Where do I want
Mm-hmm.
to go? Where is the business taking me? Who do I actually need to be to get there? If you're doing that work first up and early on in your business, then you will have a much more easeful experience, in my opinion, than if you are um, not aware of that yet. Which, and you don't know what you don't know, but now you're listening, so you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, interestingly, I feel like that was one of the things when I was thinking about what are some of the trends that I'm seeing is I feel like, thankfully, I'm so glad because like you, Annalise, like it's not where I started as far as in entrepreneurship. It took me a long time to realize how much I needed to develop myself to feel good in running the business and then therefore to actually create what I wanted to create. It wasn't just through that harder work. And what I am loving seeing is how much more support there is, how much more conversation there is around and education around, and so many more beautiful people like Danni and Jess, helping people to grow themselves and step into the person that they want to be and need to be to have the life and the business that they want to have. And I feel like there is a big, I don't think it's a trend, but a movement towards that with more and more. I was reading some statistics recently with the number, like the statistics of the number of women coming into business and especially online business is growing hugely. And I feel like that is a part of it as well. And also, it's just becoming more visible and more people are talking about doing business in a way that also feels good. It's not just business first, it's life and family first, and doing business in those ways and speaking about that personal growth and the growth that is necessary. And so I feel like that to me is observing that is becoming more and more common to understand that from an earlier point in business, which is so exciting for all of the people coming newly into business kind of nowish, is that there's more awareness around that to start that right from the beginning, which I find really exciting. They don't have to
Yeah.
wait however many years to realize.
Yes.
Yeah.
Annalise, what do you see not working anymore in your space?
I see, and what's not working is lazy marketing. Like
Mm.
that, anyone in who's has an over reliance on AI or an over reliance on automation, that is what's not working because there is such a low barrier to entry now. Anyone can have a business up and running in like 20 minutes and
Mhm.
not have to do anything. There's AI for everything. I went to an AI conference recently in Bali and you can get people to do your UGC ad. Like there's like literally you can get AI for every piece of it. And that is going to then be more prevalent. And so I think the people that are standing out are the people who are really speaking from themselves. Like we're just outsourcing our genius. Like, yes, use AI.
Mm.
It's amazing. Make it to amplify and leverage and go faster. But if you're getting AI to just write your content, which, yeah, when it first came out, I played with that. Of course, it like we're like, how does this work? What are we going to use it? What do we like about it? What do we not? But it became apparent really quickly that that is just going to be very general, very vanilla, and we're going to
Mhm.
blend in with everybody else. And that's what's not working. Any clients of mine in my agency that are using their teams, like there's a trend to hiring low-cost staff out of the Philippines and then getting them to utilize AI, or they just utilize AI without the person knowing for everything, that is getting mediocre results, as you would expect, because it's not coming from the genius of the person that helped them to grow their business. It's not standing
Mhm.
out. It's not connecting. It's not polarizing.
Yeah.
And so it's not getting the result. There's no difference then from someone who has no experience to someone who has 20 years experience, who's Yale educated, who's like, has that work with people. There's no distinguishing factors anymore. So unless we actually really dive in on the quality
Mhm.
and use our genius and leverage AI in ways that are smart and not outsourcing our genius, like I said, and not then looking really strategically at the numbers and amplifying what's working. Um, yeah, I think there's a lot of lazy marketing out there because, yeah, 2020, 2021, maybe even 2022, we could get away with it. And
Mhm.
and now we just can't.
Yeah, it's really changed the game, hasn't it?
Totally.
Yeah.
I
And
think, yeah,
that,
everything that's happening in the world plus that, it's like we can't do that.
yeah. Something that I've been doing with my team, and we're working and we're still improving it because, like, we have to play with it to figure out what's actually working. But I found that it was like, even with the clearest instructions, you have someone in the team and then they use their AI. And so we've actually created custom bots now just for within the business that are so deeply trained in me and my voice, and they've got transcripts of me coaching, and they've got all of the things just to try and get as streamlined, because there's a part of me that does want to outsource certain things, obviously, to buy
Mm.
back my time. But then I also don't like putting out content quality that just sounds like it's written by AI. Like, and then sometimes I would find that it's almost more work to go and approve something and change, or or make edits, or give feedback, just because
Mm.
you can see how clearly it is AI. There was a conversation that we were having in our mastermind retreat a couple of months ago around how people are using it to think for them versus using it to think, not to think, sorry, but to enhance their voice. And so I think that for me, like, that's been my focus, is how do I get the best results using this based on enhancing me just versus getting it to do the thinking for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think more as a thinking partner. I think as long as we're the
Thank you.
start and the end,
Yes.
then great. And in the middle, perfect. Like often I'll give an outline and say, okay, where are the gaps? What could I do? And then, of course, we're then discerning and going, I'm not just taking all of that at
Yeah.
face value, but like, oh, amazing. Yes, I did forget about that. So it's a great thought partner.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it's more about amplifying rather than replacing.
Yeah, absolutely. Jess, do you have any thoughts on this? I'd love to hear.
Yeah, so I'm going to bring numerology into this. So for those that don't know, it is a universal year 9, and what I'm seeing in my business, and I have a mixture of people that are healing, emotional wounds, healing trauma. I've also got business customers as well. I work with high achieving women, so I've got a bit of a vast view of who I support and hold space for. But what I'm really noticing is this almost this resetting. It's almost like this letting go of their old identity. So that might be interpreted in an offering that they have in their business that they know no longer serves them. And I know, Jess, you've gone through just this amazing
Nervous breakdown.
rebrand, and yeah, this like fuck yes frequency, this you're going through the
Mm.
universal year 9.
Yeah.
And I think that one thing that we sometimes don't do in business is we force things that we think we should still be doing because we've done it before, or because our coach has done it. They say we should continue to do it. But I think that when you really tap into the energy of numerology, and if you understand, I suppose, the foundations of it, we're all going through a universal year 9, which is really completions and closure. And so if you're feeling really guided to close an offering that doesn't feel good in your body anymore, or you're not willing to let go of this version of you, to let the next version come through for 2026, for the universal year 1, then you may be really pushing against yourself, and you may then not be the customers that are meant for you might not be flowing to you because they're not right for the next version of yourself. So I think that if there was one thing that I'm really noticing, and it's not just business clients, it's also people that are really wanting that reset. They're not happy in their day job anymore. They're wanting to shift to a different industry, shift to a different job, even just have that complete rebirth and reset. They are, what it might feel like is that you're feeling exhausted, you're pushing up against something that in your body doesn't feel right anymore. And yeah, so that's what I'm really seeing. I'm really seeing that, on top of AI, obviously, and um, I think it is just making sure that you understand when it's time to reset. And if you're
Yeah.
feeling it in your body now, particularly like at the end of a universal year 9, if you're feeling it and you haven't listened to those whispers, please listen, because universal year 1 is coming next year. And that is, it's initiation, leadership, it's a rebirth, it's like a rebrand, it's so many new beautiful things, but we can't step into the year 1 unless we're ready to let go of that old identity.
I love that so much. I actually had a thought this morning. So over the last 3 days, I've just had like just things just continually going wrong. Like and they're little things. Like someone smashed a glass on the stairs and then I trod in it and I got shard of glass in my foot when I took the dog down for the third time since that she woke up from like 1:30, 3:30, like, and all of these little things last night, well, not that little last night, my washing machine flooded the downstairs because the hose in the sink came undone, and I was home by myself with my daughter and I was like, trying to clean it all up and all of these things. But I was presented again an opportunity of a particular identity and a particular reaction pattern of mine, a stress reaction pattern. I was like, this morning, I was like, you've just had the opportunity to observe that over the last 3 days with all of these things. And one, amazing that you didn't go back into the full way that you used to actually deal with it. But two, there is obviously still something else here this year that I haven't, that I've ignored. There's obviously something else here that is smacking me in the face in the last 3 days. Like, I'm talking, if I could drop and smash something I have, if I could like slip on something, if the dog could like poo on something, like, I mean everything. And they're all seemingly little things, but something is like smacking me in the face saying, hey, you're not done. And I never thought I was done, but it's like, pay attention. Pay attention now. And I can see the identity patterns coming through. And it's really interesting, just the lessons that I've taken from that. But I completely agree. I've seen that pattern obviously within myself, but with so many people, a few of us sitting on the call here today, even like we've shared a lot, and there's a lot of talk about that now on Instagram and things as well. People are like, hey, am I really good? I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one who's been through one of the hardest years of my life internally. And coming, and I love that this does a full, oh, I keep bumping this, a full circle back to how Danni started the conversation, and even bringing in the lens of the lazy marketing and bringing in that rebirth and the ability to pivot in your offers if you need to, and the shedding of what's no longer serving us. All of it is coming down to, or maybe I've just got like funnel vision on, but everything to me is just screaming. You really just have to let yourself be in your body when you're running your business and really be that, like, be willing to do the work that makes you then be the most, I don't like to use the word authentic because I hear a lot of people say I'm being authentic, but then they kind of still cap themselves in so many different ways. But like the most fully
Fully
expressed
expressed.
version of
Yeah.
you. Yeah. Yeah, you knew I was going to say that. Jada and I are working on a launch together. She's like, I know what's coming. But it is, it's the most fully expressed version of you because that's how you're going to stand out in AI in your marketing. That's how you're going to hold your next level of income. That's how you're going to have the most happiness and joy in your life. Like yeah, it's all, everything we've talked about is all interconnected. Jada, did you have any thoughts in what's not coming with us in 2025 before we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, well, I guess in the space of, say, live launching, which really is marketing one-to-many into your one-to-many container with an event, just kind of has a bit of a name in the digital space. But when we're looking to bring large cohorts or groups of people into our group containers, and using events to do so, which is what live launching is, or in that whole space, I guess, of marketing into your online offers, what I'm seeing not working so well for people anymore is following, I guess, what is the base formula or base strategies and kind of learning them at more of that surface level or even quite well. And even doing very textbook, incredible, all inclusive, say, launches or funnels leading into their programs, but not getting the results. And so it's not kind of enough to just copy the base strategy or to copy the way somebody else has been doing it because it's been working for them. And so what I'm seeing is partially that. And so people are very frustrated that it's not working because they're putting a lot of effort and time and energy and building into things that they feel like should work because they've followed the formula and the strategy and the way somebody else seems to be doing it. But they're still not then getting the results that kind of match their effort. So yeah, just following, I guess, that the straight strategy without, which is what a lot of what we're talking about, without what your deeper personalization of your offer and your personality and yourself and how you serve your people, like if you don't go deeper underneath that and bring in those aspects of self, your offer and your ideal people, then the surface level strategy is not working so well for people anymore, in part because it's been seen a lot, but in part, so people, it needs to be more juicy, it needs to be more personalized moving forward. And that
Absolutely.
needs to be brought in.
Yeah, I love that. I think people, it's almost like, you know, there are so many free webinars and things that people can just sign up to now. It's almost like they've just become background noise in a way. I think well, I know I think even thinking about my inbox, how many things I just signed up to, never watched, never went back to. Like, and then I think about the opposite experience of the person on the other end creating the launch. That's like, oh, 200 people signed up. And then, there's one of those 200 people like me, probably 100 of those 200 people like me who just, popped their email in and kept going on with their day. And then we've got this whole personal interpretation happening over here around what's going on or hanging our
What does that
hopes on the
mean?
people who signed
Yeah.
up. Yeah. Yeah. But I think I love that it's around that personalizing again and connecting that thread again because you do need to stand out. You need to stand out in your launching, in your marketing, in the energy, the frequency that you're putting out.
Mm.
So then let's flip that in terms of launching. It might get you to share then what do you think or what do you see with your clients moving forward now into next year? What do you see working and what are your predictions for what's going to work?
Yeah, so what I feel like is necessary or I am seeing is necessary, and I know to be necessary, is to bring that realness and to create connection with people. So some of that conversation around AI or people wanting to automate themselves kind of out of their business, it's almost like that's the dream that is painted. We want to have evergreen funnels that work for us and have automation do all of the things so that we can be just making money in our sleep. And it's absolutely possible and it does work. However, if we don't bring in the essential aspects that make it work beyond the funnel, beyond the actual assets of the pieces that you need, it is what is underlying or within each of those pieces, which is the personalization, it is the connection, it is the, helping people to shift in their beliefs and their mindset and to feel ready to actually move forward with what they're desiring, which your offer helps them with. So it's the underlying almost soft skills or connection and personalization within each of the parts of a funnel that are needing to be refined and personalized. So that's what I'm seeing is helping all my clients to improve their results. I've got clients come in who have got, like I said, that textbook, incredible looking launch. Like they send me all these things. I'm like, wow, you've definitely done all the study. You've definitely learnt all the strategies. You've gone and you've implemented all the aspects that should make, say, a live launch work, and yet you haven't had the results and you don't know why. And so what we work on with all of my clients is actually coming back to the core of, well, who are you serving and what help do they need and how can you serve them best at the exact entry point into your offer? Let's actually pull it back to there. And yes, we'll use the strategy and the systems that do work so long as the parts you're putting into them, the actual content, the theme or transformation you're going to have within your launch event, all of those aspects, the levers that are going to help make an event be actually converting rather than just educational and inspiring, we need to work those into it to make it work, which again comes back to creating connection, being real, knowing who you're serving, how they want to be served, where they're at. So it's coming back to a lot of those fundamentals that we really need to know and putting them into those strategies and structures that do absolutely work when we put those things inside them. So it's really coming back to that personalization within the structure and the strategy and going a lot deeper. It's a lot of thinking that we need to do. We can't just kind of stay on that surface level if we want those things to work anymore, because people have seen them. And that, I think that's what we're seeing a lot as well, is like people are slower to trust these days in the online space. So the more we can actually show up live and they can see us interact with them, not in person, but, live, and how we answer their questions, the more they're going to be able to build that trust with us more quickly. So I really feel like doing more things live, doing more live webinars or more interactive kinds of events is going to be very powerful as we move forward. And of
I was
course,
going to ask that, is live launching dead? Because I know my funnel analyst is like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
My algorithm is full of things like that. Live launching is dead, and just do this and build it, and then you'll have lifetime income. Like, we all know how much effort and work goes into building an evergreen funnel. Like, I still haven't fully cracked that code. Like, I'm still 3 years later trying to get that to actually, obviously we're making progress, but it's like we're sold this lie. And I was thinking about this morning actually also too. Everyone's got their marketing edge. Like, everyone's got the narrative that they're trying to break, but like, I think I shared with my ladies a couple of months ago, I saw someone who was promising like a very ridiculously large amount with a very, very, very short like 30-day time span. And I just thought, really? Like, is that even ethical to have that as your offer promise? Like, someone, and actually in my DMs, I just turned to the notes I had about it. I was listening to one of the messages from my masterminders the other day, and she said, I am so glad that I broke the belief and the naivety that I had around the expectations of how long it was going to take me to start making money in my business, and for my business to really like work, sort of thing. Like, so live launching is not dead, ladies and gentlemen. We
It is not.
Actually nothing is dead. It
Nothing is
all
dead.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all works. The
Yeah.
answer is yes, and to everything. Just
Yes.
pick one and actually like look at the numbers and know your audience and know your message and have a really kick-ass offer. And I totally agree with you, Jada, with the trust. And I think that's what I was going to say. The only reason I'm jumping in is because it links to
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
Um, is that's what I think is emerging more in 2026 is the high trust offers
Mm.
at the front end rather than what we would do previously with like a lower, like a membership kind of thing that was very much automated. I think what we're going to see more of is more access early on to then build that trust and upsell on the back end. So a little bit of flipping I think is what is needed just because everything we've been talking about, right? So many people jumped online during pandemic. Lots of people were really burnt and like spent lots of money on people who had no idea what they were doing, got really burnt, didn't get the results. And so now there is that trust deficit, plus everything that's going on with the economy. We're seeing the need for high trust on the front end, yes, in launches, but also with the offers
Hmm.
and information's a commodity, right? We can go to ChatGPT and have a full-on conversation, like an actual conversation. So why would people invest in high ticket products? Well, for everything we've been talking about, personalization, customization, and access to the people. So it comes down to we can't be lazy. Like we actually were in this little bubble where we thought business was easy because it was in that really like moment in history. But actually, business has just gone back to how it used to be, which is really freaking hard. And we actually have to work at it to have the results, the profit, and like everything that we want, which we can, but it doesn't just fall in our laps. So, yeah, that's my presents.
Oh, I love that you said that. I recorded a reel a couple of weeks ago that just came in after a conversation I had with someone. And I was like, in what entitled world do we live in where we think that we can have this huge vision and this huge impact and all this money and all this stuff that we really, really want, but it's just going to be super easy and this like linear pathway to it? Like, where did we get that sense of entitlement from? And I think it does come down to a lot of the misbelief that we see on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
But
really
it
does.
was that easy. Like my clients could put up a post or three and like sell out programs.
Hmm.
It was and I think everyone jumped on that
Yeah.
and didn't realize that, yeah, it was just this magical moment in time where the stars all aligned, or whatever you want to say. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So high trust offers at the front end. Can you give our listeners a little bit of an example of what that might look like in say someone's office suite if they had well, I don't know, you can just make up an office suite. But
yeah.
could you give us an example of what that might look like?
Yeah, so I think instead of like a general membership that we're used to with quite broad content, with maybe a live thing once a month, something like that, that it would be actually a lot less content tied to a very specific outcome and more access. So whatever that looked like, either to yourself, to your team, via a Slack channel, via something, I think that is what is going to be more attractive if we can speak really, really specifically to what your ideal person wants in that next step, then you can build that trust, then you can build that relationship, and then you will likely have a customer for life if you're doing everything that you say that you can do, that they will continue to move with you. So is that a specific enough example? I can give
Yep,
it in my
absolutely. Yeah,
in my
no,
actual case.
we'd love to. Yeah, we'd love to hear your actual case. I think that'd be awesome.
So for me, for example, I have a freelancer launchpad program, which is around $1,000, and an agency academy program, which is around 10,000, which is a year-long program. But now Launchpad is more specific, less content,
Mhm.
just the exact things they need to get their freelancing business to 10K months, and more um, and so that's what it's tied to. It's tied to that exact promise of these are the exact ingredients that you need to get this outcome. We're not going to put a timeline on it because that's going to depend on, what everyone's works, what they want, and how much they're willing to do the work.
Mm.
But it's less ingredients and more access.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I love that. Danny, what do you see coming forward into 2026, and what are your predictions when it comes to internal and external?
Yeah, so it really interconnects with everything that Jada and Annalise were just saying in the sense of that self trust. So if building that self trust in yourself that you can show up with the deliverables. So if you say you're going to give this to your customer, then show up and show that trust that you will give that to your customer. I think that's really important because there's been a lot of, I guess, the front end, you're going to get all of this, but then when you're in there, you don't. So I think that's a big one. And then that human centeredness is just so important. There's a lot of research at the moment that the organizations within the next 10 years that are really focused on their human connection and that human centeredness and really being genuine in what that looks like are going to be the ones that are successful. I really loved, Annalise, how you said we're going back to old times because it's true. You can't just throw something up there anymore and just hope for the best. Really like showing up and serving from your core and your values and wanting to help the people that you're serving as well is the key to having great success in the next 10 years, and there's a lot of research behind that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really think that, also I think Annalise was talking about, knowing your numbers and your KPIs and all of that type of thing. That
Mm.
is really important. Also with that, knowing what your numbers are that you can hold. Jess, you've been talking a lot about holding the space of your company or your business. What does that look like? Like, how much space can you hold? And I know over the past 5 to 10 years, that's been a huge transformation for me because I was one of those people. I'm always stuck at this ceiling. I'm always stuck at this ceiling because I was not able to hold more space. And once you do understand what that feels like and you do the work that we're all talking about, I actually had someone once say to me, what does it actually mean, the work? It means getting to know yourself, your true self, and the parts that are icky, and understanding that icky part of you, you get a kick out of it. So, just really understanding yourself is doing the work, and then understanding how much space you can hold, how much money you can hold, how many people you can actually serve and still serve well. So really coming back into what I spoke to at the very beginning, that building trust in yourself first. So if you say you're going to do something, do it, because otherwise if you don't, you're breaking trust with yourself.
Mm.
Mm.
And what will your business look like moving forward in 2026? And I know that you already do have a very human first, human centered focus, but to give us some practical examples, what will your business, your office suite, or just any intentional actions that you're going to be taking that you might be doing differently, or more focused on based on this? Like how will
Yeah.
this impact what you're actually doing in your business?
Well, I've been deep in planning what that looks like because one of the big aspects of me being a business owner for so long is one of the kinks is that I've just winged it for for a really long time. So I have really intentional aligned action steps for 2026, and that looks like more in-person events. So I'm actually running an in-person event on the 31st of January, and then there'll be 3 more throughout the year because I find that 5 years ago I used to run these a lot, and people would get incredible transformation out in that day. back then I didn't have the space to hold for it, so it'd be so sporadic. It wouldn't be regular. It wouldn't be any systems or anything behind that. But now I do have that, so I'm going to be holding a lot of more in-person events, which I'm projecting to run around the country, which will be really exciting. And then also with my masterminds and my memberships, being really intentional, even more so about the people that I bring into it. So it's not so much what I will give, because I've always been really passionate about giving to the utmost to my clients, but being more intentional about the people that come in, and
Yes.
knowing that, understanding who they are, and allowing the space to be held for them.
I love that. I would love for you to explain just before we go to Jess. Um, I've talked about this obviously, so long-term listeners will hear, anyone who's sort of in this kind of world will hear. But when you and I talk about having the space to hold, can you explain to everybody what we kind of mean by that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a capacity thing. I think if you're more of a thinking than a feeling person, it's the capacity of being able to keep level-headed, being able to keep within your body, and having that really uh, leadership energy within yourself. And so if you are trying to take on more than you can handle, or more space than you can hold, you'll actually end up repelling it. So if you get to a point where you're not like, for Jada, for example, for the launches, like if you're not getting what you want in your launches, it's because you haven't done the work to hold that space for that amount of clients or that amount of money. If you do actually do get, so for example, if you do a really great launch, and you have 100, a six-figure launch, but you don't have the energy to hold that, you will repel that money and it'll go. So you won't, you will just get rid of it. And so that really means being able to understand what capacity you have in your life to be able to do it. And that's so many different factors, because you have your personal life, you have your business life, there's so many different factors. So understanding that, so it goes straight back to that identity, Jess, of what is my identity? What am I holding right now? Who am I being? What am I doing to be able to hold that space?
Yes, absolutely. I can give a practical example of a conversation I had with someone only a couple of weeks ago who was saying, I want to have X amount of money. Like I want, and I'm putting out my, oh no, not money, sorry. She was saying, I'm putting out my 90, like her front end, and no one was taking it up. And so she's getting really, really frustrated with that. And when we sort of did a little bit of a breakdown, she had this big goal, but the thing is that she'd actually made the big goal feel so big in her body that she completely contracted around it, didn't even believe at some level that it was possible, then slipped up and said to me, I'm actually really happy with what I'm earning. And what she was earning was the same as an old corporate, like an old regular role, but also half of what she actually wanted to get to at her goal. And so when we talk about being able to hold something, we identified, first of all, some beliefs around money and beliefs around around even just thinking differently around entrepreneurship and around business. But then in terms of capacity, I said to her, why is the universe, God, whatever, like whoever you're, whatever, why are you going to be given more clients in that capacity here that is going to make you earn more money when you have literally just said, I'm feeling really happy and safe at the income that I'm earning? She did not have the capacity to hold more clients. And then we think about someone who maybe like me this year, going through what I was going through. I believe we hustle to the health of our nervous system. My capacity to hold meant having to let go of some of the one-on-one people I was working with. And that was intentional. It was like, what is your capacity to hold? Oh, I want 20 clients a week. Okay, but you also value freedom and family, and when's all that going to fit in? Like all of those
Absolutely.
things is what we're talking about when we're talking about holding.
Yeah, and like you
Thank you
said,
for
with
that.
the your client that had the big goal out here, it's also so far outside of your body. So it's
Yeah.
you put it in an unreachable spot. So you need to bring what you want closer in towards you, so you
Yes,
can start working aligned to it. Yeah.
absolutely. Jess, what do you see going to work in 2026? Where do people's focus and intentions? What's your predictions?
So personally, I think that because, we've been talking about AI and, there's just so much information. We do not need, no one's buying one-off courses anymore like they used to, because you can just chat GPT that, ask a question, get some personalized response that you think that you need. So I think that because there's this information overload for all of us, that community is really going to be the biggest key to success. Because, after the pandemic, now we're living in this AI world. We are losing that human touch and that human connection. We're all online. People, I love to hear that you're going to be doing events next year, Danny, because we need more events. We need more connection and community. And I think that that's really the recipe. That's the key that's missing for so many people. And that can be from a personal perspective and personal transformation and development, but also in business as well. And just to feel community around us. I know that, some of us have been on retreat together, and when we come together in retreat, it's like, oh man, I missed you, or I missed this feeling. And I think that there's just not enough of that. So I do think that there's almost this sense of belonging as well. And community can look different. Community doesn't have to look like, sitting in a room together and someone speaking to you. You can create community online as well. You can speak to your audience as though they are already your community, even though they're not paying for you or a service yet. It's the energy that I suppose, you tap into. This is my community, and I'm going to bring them into my world. So community is the one thing, but then that bringing them into your world is not being driven by those AI driven promotions that we might have on Instagram. So really starting to tell your story. So what I'd love to see more of is more storytelling, more of who you are, what you do, where you came from, why do you speak like this? Why is your vision like this? I think that with so much promotional material and so much information that we have out there, everyone's regurgitating the same stuff. And so everyone's just, they're just sliding along and reading, not even really reading, it's very unconscious. But the moment that you start to be your true self by telling your story, people will stop. And then if they are feeling aligned with who you are, who you were, where you're going, they really will be drawn to, your authentic self or your true self. I think that that's probably the biggest thing is like your personal narrative. People will feel your energy when they feel your story, and that's what will draw them in. So I'm really hoping that storytelling of who you are and community will be the big key changes for 2026.
Yeah. And what will community look like for you more so? So I know that you already have a really strong focus on this and you do a lot of in-person events and things too with your breath work. So what does, and with face-to-face coaching and things too, don't you? You do a lot of
Yes.
in-person things. So what does community look like for you and your business?
Yeah, and it's going to look a bit different next year because I'll have a newborn. So I think that for me, for me personally, there is this rebirth. I'm really feeling this year 9 to year 1 next year. And I know I was speaking to Jada about this. I was like, I think I'm gonna just burn it all down and start fresh. That's really where I'm really feeling it, and I'm not afraid to burn it all down. And that
Sometimes
might,
you have to.
yeah, and it might look different. My in-person events might look different because just because I've done it this way for the past 5 years doesn't mean it's really aligned to who I am. So I think that I'm really at the cusp of not knowing what my in-person events will look like, and even not knowing if the one-on-ones that I have in person are going to look like that as well. So I actually am not wanting to push it. I heard, I've been told by all of you beautiful mothers that are in business to not push now, to wait until the baby's arrived, wait until, that maiden to mother energy has come through, and then from that place decide, what does this rebirth look like? So watch this space. I am ready to burn it all down, as I've said to Jada. But I really, one aspect of that is for me personally is to continue to hold space for community, because human connection, you cannot, energy and human connection, you just cannot change.
Yeah.
You can bring all the AI in, but as soon as you've got someone in front of you and you just have that close, that depth and that heart with each other, you cannot replicate that online.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
completely agree.
Even being in this space, it's like, oh, women,
Yeah.
like,
You feel it, all the
yeah,
feels.
Yeah.
so good.
And people who like think similarly or and feel like we're so, yeah, it's really important to find community. And I love that. And I cannot wait to see how that all unfolds for you. And I really love and really want to point out Jess's confidence and trust in how it will unfold versus how a lot of people may look at this trying to control what's coming. Whereas this is very much a very responsive, very, very intuitive led way of navigating a very, a big change in a season. And that's, like we were talking about before, in terms of capacity and holding, it's like not only, yeah, identity, it's nervous system health, it's the season of life that you're in as well. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought up rebirth because I think, I know one of you mentioned earlier, we can become really, or it might have been you, Jess, like we become so attached to what we've created that it's like, oh, I better just keep this because it's working. But actually, there does come times, particularly when you evolve, the energy of your business also needs to evolve with you or vice versa. So when I actually had an energetic business clearing done a couple of months ago, and she said to me, she's like, it's not the frequency of your business. That's up here. Like, it's ready. It's just waiting for you. Like, I was like, I knew that. I knew that. But it was a matter of actually bringing me and my frequency up to what was ready to come forward. And then look what's happened when I did. It's like, fuck yes. Like, this is it. This is so good. So, just to wrap up, guys, because I have loved every bit of this conversation, but I want to ask you, and I'm going to whip around the room just to ask this final question. Your fuck yes frequency moving into 2026. It's almost like word of the year, but I want you to think of it as an energetic commitment to yourself. What is your fuck yes frequency? Mine is spicy and playful, but grounded. That's my fuck yes frequency for next year. And now you're all going, oh, I don't know the answer to this one, but I'm going to put you on the spot, but you're all responders. So, except for Annalise, she's a manifester. All right. Jess, you're unmuted. What's your fuck yes frequency look like for 2026?
So it's definitely rebirth and overflow.
Oh, I
So
love it. I just
yeah.
renamed my mastermind to Overflow.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I love
Overflow,
it.
that word, it's beyond abundance. It's like just overflowing with everything in all parts of my life. So that just, yeah, overflow feels so good in my body. So yeah, rebirth and overflow. Bring
Oh,
it.
Amazing. Danny, what's your fuck yes frequency for 2026?
Well, mine is abundance, which actually does mean overflow as well, Jess. So we're
Mm-hmm.
very aligned there. I already feel the overflow and abundance, and also joy, like just like fun. Yeah, definitely that's my fuck yes frequency. Let's just have some fun and be abundant.
Oh, I love that.
Mm.
Jada?
Oh, I feel like I'm just ready to see what next year brings, because I've had a lot of the, I guess, rebirth and have moved into a new phase. And so I'm really excited to see where that takes me. So I feel like the energies that are going to come through a lot for me are adventure, fun, and yeah, connection. I thrive off that depth of connection, of deep work with people. So yeah, that real going deep with people, but also seeing where things kind of flow and having fun and adventures, both in life and in business, and kind of finding what those next steps are and seeing where it takes me. That's where I feel like my energy is going next year.
Oh, amazing. Annalise, what's your fuck yes frequency for 2026?
I think it's just more grounded. Like I just feel really peaceful, relaxed, like certain. There's a lot
Yeah.
of trust there. Um, yeah, I think just being relaxed in everything and enjoying the process and being present.
Yeah.
And that is more and more a part of my everyday. And I think that's just going, if I think about what next year brings, I know what we're doing. I feel really confident in terms of what's happening in business, where we're going to be in life. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that there'll be curveballs, and I just feel very grounded to be able to sit and deal with that. Kind of what you were talking about, Jess. You had the opportunity to, be redirected and deal with it
Yeah.
in a different way. And I feel like I'm in a really good spot.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Oh, I
have
love
a
this.
joyful, peaceful, grounded, yeah, like I know what I'm here to do and I'm doing it and
Yeah.
bring it.
Yeah, bring it. Fuck yes. Oh, ladies, this has been the best conversation, and I appreciate every single one of you. I know that listening to each of you, and I'm sure you all picked up on it too, there is really common themes running through everything from every different lens that everybody spoke about. So, if you would like to connect with any of the women who have just poured into you, just quickly, I will link it, but Danny, where can we find you?
So on Instagram, I'm Danni Vee Coach, or LinkedIn, Danni Vee. Very easy. Or the
Amazing,
Danni
Jess.
Vee Show.
Oh, yes, yes, with your podcast. Jess, where can we find you?
So you can find me at putujespatra.com, or on any of social medias is Putu Jessica Patra.
Amazing, Jada.
Yeah, on Instagram, jada.businessmentor, and I have a podcast, the Aligned and Thriving podcast. They're the two places to listen in and connect best.
Amazing, Annalise.
Yeah, at Annelise Worn on Instagram. Check the spelling because it's a little odd.
And you know what? We would love to hear if, Jess or Danny or Jada or Annalise said something that activated you, that really resonated with you. If you want to learn more about what they do and how they can support you as well, then please just go and have the conversation. Go and say, hey, I heard you say this and I completely agree. Or tell them you disagree. Like, just go,
Totally.
just
Yeah.
Yes.
go and say hi and let them know that they have impacted you because they've very generously given their time and their energy today. Thank you so much, everybody. I wish you all Merry Christmas as we listen to this.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
ladies. Thanks for
Thanks so
having me,
much.
Jess.
Thank you for tuning in to Resource with Jessica Reed. If today's episode spoke to you, I'd love for you to share it with another soul-led entrepreneur who is also ready to rise. Make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected because when you are deeply resourced, you become unstoppable. Until next time, my friend, stay resourced, stay radiant, and trust in the magic that is you.